So, continuing with the theme of old forgotten Nokias, I have a rather grimy and sorry looking for itself Nokia 5130 Express Music, sort of an MP3 player and phone combined. Sony did this with the Walkman series, and well, this thing was launched in 2008. This was the zenith, the lasted the glory days of the Nokia lineup, and really you can sort of feel that looking at this phone. Uh, the construction is pretty good, but it's all plasticky, and thinking that this thing came around when the iPhone was just at the beginning of its career, well, you can sort of see why Nokia's fell out of favor. Let me just zoom in so you can see the inside of the phone. This is one of those phones that still had a removable battery. For what it's worth, here it stands. Well, no other bit that's quite as interesting about this phone, really. It had some sort of buttons on the sides, so you can use this as a functioning MP3 player in your pocket while exercising or stuff like that. That's what I believe anyway. I wasn't really a fan of MP3 phones or anything like that sort, and I wasn't a fan of Nokia's. Therefore, I don't really know anything about this phone, but it seems that it starts right up, typical of Nokia's of the period. So I'm just going to show you the menu. By the way, this is not a smartphone, but rather a feature phone. So let's see what's available in this Nokia 5130 Express Music. Okay, so we'll just memorize the date and time as it's shown here, or rather try to avoid setting it up. Okay, and well, nice looking home screen. And let's switch to the menu and search for the camera, see if we can find it. This, by the way, has a 2-megapixel camera on the back and a QCIF camera on the front. So yeah, not much in terms of features, though it did have a micro SD card slot, an expandable slot, up to 1 gigabytes of memory. Woo, that's nice. So let's open the camera and take a picture. Now I know it's not relevant because even if the camera itself were to be a good performer, the glass on top of the screen is all scratched up and you can't really see any interesting details, but for what it's worth, here it is. And well, I guess I don't really have anything else interesting to say about this phone. We've covered the construction, the reasoning behind it in terms of marketing position. I've shown you the insides. What's left to discuss is whether this thing is a collectible unit. Even though this thing wasn't hugely popular, it was popular enough that they're quite common and quite cheap to purchase, though a good condition one is really hard to find. Now, I got this thing from a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, and even he, who used it fairly responsibly and kept it as a memento, well, you can see it's not looking that great. So the worst of owners will have scratched these beyond desirability or even compromise factors. So you wouldn't really want one of these devices looking like this, and replacing these bezels is not going to be an easy task because you won't find any original pieces, any original components quite that easily, and what you will find is only Chinese knockoff chassis and cases for these, which will not work that well. But anyway, that's the Nokia 5130 Express Music Edition. Remember, I buy, hoard and collect, but sometimes borrow weird, quirky and obsolete tech stuff like this vintage phone, so you don't have to. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.